So that was a clip from the latest episode of Geass, Roze of the Recapture. So, yeah, as you can see that Flaya right there at the top, I predicted last episode that the Flayas were going to be way smaller, and I was right. The Flayas are way, way smaller than they were in the original series. I mean, look how tiny this thing is compared to the original Flayas that like took out the entire Tokyo settlement. Like, this is insane. Or the one that Schneisel used to take out Pendragon, the capital, like just giant craters in the ground, millions dead in a second. This, just a little bit of, flashy explosion at the top of the Damocles. But anyways, to get into the episode, they decide to take down the Damocles, the seven shining stars as they're called, and their plan doesn't really make a lot of sense, because they're like, we're gonna take down the Damocles, but then when the Damocles falls at the end because of them firing at it, and the one Neo-Britannian guy finishing it off at the end, deciding that they don't need it anymore with that Flaya, they're all surprised that it's fallen down on the city. It's like, okay, it's been above Sapporo this whole time. How do you guys not expect the Damocles to fall on the city on the people? Like, they're acting surprised, like they got set up. And, try to make, like, Norland, the main villain, look smart. Like, ooh, he knew that they were going to take down the Damocles, and it was all his plan, so it would fall on the city. It's like, they should have figured that out. It's all above the city. Like, it's amazing that guy's plan worked. That really was the plan. But anyways, the battle was pretty interesting. We get to see the Flaya Eliminator take out a couple Flayas before the Damocles goes down. I'll show that here. This was really cool. Boom. Just like the original. And that explosion looked way bigger. Like, if they didn't stop that one, maybe the Flayas, each one is a different size. I don't know. One thing that was interesting is when they used the Flaya Eliminator, which Ash Phoenix he was the main guy using it, which makes sense because he's the best pilot and fighter. He's like the Suzaku of this series. The Flaya Eliminator, like, the Neo-Britannians weren't surprised that they had it. Like, even the Devik guy, the Yu-Gi-Oh guy who we see die there, who gets crushed at the end in his nightmare frame, whatever we call his type of nightmare. Yeah, the Devik guy, which the Devik guy is so dumb in this episode, because they just, like, before the Damocles gets on, Haruka and Roze, they're able to get on the Damocles and cause a lot of damage. Roze uses her Geass to trick the guys who are in the control room to basically sabotage the Damocles. But then the soldiers come in and they, like, kill the control people, which to me doesn't really make a lot of sense, because if you're gonna, like, if you're gonna kill the control people, how the hell are the soldiers gonna know how to use the Damocles? That really didn't make a lot of sense to me. We also got a scene here. Oh yeah, here's the control room here. We also had a little scene here. I can't show too much because DMCA. I can't show any of the Hulu stuff or get taken down, so I'm using YouTube. But we get to see Sakuya, or her body double, as, the new queen now that she's the empress, or empress I should say, of Neo-Britannia. And she's arguing Norland, and Norland just walks out on her, and it shows that, like, she has no power, which is kind of interesting. It'd be like, what would happen if she had a little bit more, balls here, and she has booba, and what if she, like, ordered Norland to be executed? Like, would they all turn on her and just shoot her instead? Like, it's kind of interesting, but it really seems like she has no power. So, Sakuya's body double, Roze's body double, really is just a figurehead at this point. But, some good fan service shots of her this episode. Also, one of the things I really is growing on me with this new series is the soundtrack. Like, the soundtrack sounds so good. I'll just play some of it here. Yeah, that is a really good opening. Okay, that is a really good opening song. It's a fire song. So I gotta give the series just that. Like, it has all these problems, the villains are dumb as hell, and they should have been taken out a while ago. But like, man, that soundtrack is great. The battles are great. And it was, it was cool to see, the Flay Eliminator again. It was cool to see the Damocles again. I would say overall, let's give this episode, I'm not going to be too hard on it, maybe like 6.5 or 7 out of 10. Again, a lot of the stuff really don't make sense strategically, but the battles were cool. The soundtrack is still great. The fan service is still great. And although that's a downside for some people, but, I'm straight. I don't mind it. So it's plus for me. But yeah, it was a really good episode. Give it a watch. Go give it a watch. Roze of the Recapture, episode 5. And, next week, who knows what we're going to see. We lost 3 of the villains already. I mean, they're just dropping like flies. And, we got a lot of cool side character development. We got to see like one of the Neo-Britannian chicks, the one with the red hair and the big booba. She was like, really pissed about how they're going to kill civilians. It's like, do you know what side you're on, lady? Like, it's kind of weird. We got to see a little Haruka fight the Devik guy from Yu-Gi-Oh! Before he gets killed and crushed. There's a lot of cool, battles in this episode. So yeah, I would say the episode, honestly, now I'm more think of it, 7 out of 10, because the battles are really good. Just the plot doesn't really still, drags it down. But other than that, it was a pretty decent episode. Go give it a watch. Wherever you are, have a fantastic day, and peace out.